What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Rage Traders NRL Super Coach Podcast. Today, a little quick video, a little wrap up on the Broncos versus Parramatta Eels. And by the way, it was a shocking result, pun intended. So let's get into this wrap up. This was, if you didn't watch this game, out of the games I could tell you to go back and watch just for like a general round of games, go watch this game. Absolutely insane. The Broncos lose at home, Suncorp, twice in a row. First, 26-0, now 40-32. In 2 games, the Broncos have conceded 66 points, and they are the former premiership team. That is alarm bells ringing. That is something is going on in the camp. That is, thank God for Payne Haas. Thank God. Okay, so now I went out on a limb and I captained Payne Haas. I am super, super happy with that, as you can imagine. I know Herbie Farnworth was like a thing and like he was vice captain. But in my head, I was like, vice captaincy on Payne Haas. Like, I don't think he's going to go out there and drop a 130, 140, which a fullback can do. And to loop a 111 feels a bit iffy to me with the amount of scoring we're seeing. But I'm very, very happy. Also, I had Carrigan in my team in my flex position, who sits with an 83. He did get a line break assist and a try assist, so I'm not reading too much into that. But it's so good when Carrigan, who is just a pretty much like a plotter, he's kind of like an Isaiah Yo, he can get away with an 83. And the biggest news for me out of all of this is Pezzett. Jeez, if you traded him, I told you in the round two strategy talk that I just released on Thursday prior to the game. I said, don't trade Pezzett. It feels like a waste of a trade. He comes out, I think he had 3 try assists this game. I don't know. It could have been 4. He comes out with an 82, gets the last try also to seal the game. I think you're absolutely kicking yourself if you've gone to Cody Walker or Braden Trindle, and whoever you've gone to, you are praying that they have a good second game, because we've spoken about this. The first points that you score in round 1 are going to be the first points that drop out of your rolling 3 average. Now for Pezzett, his first game against Melbourne was a shocker. So it's actually worked in favor of us, because if he goes 82, 40, 50, that's a great rolling 3 average for a cheapie. But with a Braden Trindle, if it's 113, 40, 40, 40, you're very worried then. So a lot of people, I think, have now been punished unless Braden Trindle or Cody Walker, whoever you've gone to, excels. But I still think it's still a wasted trade considering the position. But let's talk about the game in general of Supercoach. First of all, Payne Haas, absolutely amazing. Plus a Patrick Carrigan try assist, where he just put Payne Haas into the easiest open hole, and Haas ran like 20, 30 meters, easiest try of your life. Thank you, come again. Absolutely huge. I think a massive talking point is Reece Walsh in this game. I expected 100 plus. I told you guys if I had him in my team, I would have captained him, and I'm glad I didn't have him in my team. Now, I do think his score should have been 100 plus, but he had a few errors in the night. I can recall at least 3 times he dropped the ball, and just these were drops that just shouldn't be drops, where he didn't really have too much pressure. He had no pressure at all, and it was just things like that. Now, he did have an amazing first try. He basically did on his own, stepping through the gap. And then the second try was absolutely phenomenal. A chip that he regathered and scored again. But in saying that, the Eels get up, and the Broncos aren't going to be scoring these type of points or versing this type of defense every week. I am worried a bit about Reece Walsh, because one, I expected him to get over 100 tonight. I think if you're investing that much into a price tag, that's what you want. Now, the good news is he's got a 97. You still are happy with that. If you had him as captain, you're still okay with it. You're not over the moon. He's $835,600. So for him to get a 97, you can't really complain. But again, they scored 32 points into a game they really should have won, into an Eels defense we know that were quite bad last week, and you thought Brisbane should have just run away with this game. The biggest reason I think they let in a lot of points was Ezra Mann's defense got targeted. It was really, really poor this game. I also am not too massive on like the two RFs. Like I feel like Jordan Ricky and who was the other two RF that I'm thinking of? Jack Goz. They just don't cut it for this style of team sometimes. They're very meh. They're not like an Eli Katoa that can, do a lot of damage, or just someone like that, a Nikora, something like that. So, yeah, it's really interesting. But again, on a super coach standpoint, I mean, Katoni Staggs getting 2 tries and only getting 59 points. That's really awkward. I think if he's in your team, you just jump off him. Adam Reynolds was pretty massive this game. A lot of try assists, a lot of great work, 108 points. Had an injury scare from a hit he copped. So that'll be interesting to see how he pulls off of that one. But all in all, I think Willison was really good in the time he played on the ground. Thank God. I mean, I know, and I have to own this, I'm wrong a lot. Like some of the times, I'm a content creator. I say a lot of things. Of course, I'm going to be wrong here and there. Shibasaki, 20 points. Didn't even look involved in this game. He was one of my pods. He was a center I was actually going to play and start with in Supercoach. I didn't do it because of the Panthers game where I thought they were really going to get crushed down. 20 points just looked really just not useless, but like uninvolved in the game. He just was nowhere to be seen. It was really weird. He's not playing like the Shibasaki we've seen prior. It's really weird. It is really, really weird. But again, that's how the cookie crumbles, and Broncos have a lot of work to do. Again, the draw is nice for them, but you expected them to come out for the win in this game, or with the win this game. Again, Mariner was a ghost in this game. If you've got any one of these guys, you Jack Goz, Shibasaki, Mariner, Karapani, I think it's time to get off completely. And I think the 3 main people we really are focusing on in this team, Supercoach wise, is Haas, Carrigan, and Reece Walsh. And then sometimes, as you can see, Reynolds will pop up with these crazy, crazy good scores. The next, for me, I know a lot of people are going to say Talagi is the man of the match. He's very close, but I think Iongi has been so good for the Eels, especially even last week. Some of his defensive plays, just in terms of like, they grub the ball, it got in goal. You thought they would pressure him and just get him for the dropout. No, he just showed immediate like agility, got out. There was some things he really did. He looks amazing in attack. He is now a fullback I am looking at targeting. I just think he's an absolute gun. $640,800. I don't know if it says the percentage of ownership in him, but if you own Iongi, congratulations, because we've spoken about this before, and I am going to bring it up. NRLSC stats and draw, but they're the Parramatta Eels, and this is what I was saying. If you held on to Hopgood, I think it's going to be really good for you now. Parramatta Eels, St. George next now, at home, into Penrith away. And remember, when we were doing our first videos, I was saying you want to target like Eels in round 5. West Tigers, Gold Coast. Bulldogs is a tough game. Manly away. New Zealand, North Queensland. A great patch there. I think you can even look at them now. Like, I know they have Penrith. I know they'll have some tough games, but maybe they're games you can just sit that player out. I mean, you wouldn't do that for an Iongi. But I think Hopgood's going to be someone I really look at targeting now. If one of my 2 RFs looks quite bad, I'm really big on that. Again, they're at St. George at home, Penrith away, West Tigers at home, Gold Coast at home. That is such a nice 3-game run. And their morale and their boost and momentum is going to be absolutely huge. So props to you if you've stayed on some players from Parramatta Eels. Moses 65, good and bad. I think, I don't know how. Look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I don't think Moses is a super coach friendly player. I really don't. A 65 points in a 40-point game where he's a goal kicker, sure, there might be a bit of money to be made. I agree with that. But I don't know if I'd go out of my way when we can get a Nico Hines, when we can get a Nathan Cleary, when we can possibly get an Adam Dewey, who could be absolutely incredible for the West Tigers this week. So that's something I'm really like looking at. Again, Tuolagi, huge 113 points. Iongi, amazing this game. They were the two biggest players. Then Moses follows them. It's just, I think that's all we're targeting. I mean, this game, it's crazy to say this, but I think the left side of Eels just gets way less ball. This right side, without even Will Penasini here, who I thought was just going to be absolutely a self-destruction for the Eels, because I thought, oh, that side's just going to get targeted, and whoever takes up Will Penasini's spot, well, it's just game over. And I was wrong. Their right side absolutely dominated. Like, Tuolagi dominated, and then what they did was they just used him as a blocker, swept behind Moses to Iongi, and it was just like game over. So a really, really impressive win. Again, Supercoach wise, I'm not really looking at anyone else but Iongi and Pezzett for Supercoach for the Eels. If Tuolagi performs the way he does consistently, yes, we'll speak about him. At the price he is at the moment, 515,900. I'd also rather just sit on a Hopgood, so wait for him to come back, which will be next week into St. George, which I think will be very, very good. But yeah, wow, what a game, eh? So yeah, very good for me for tonight. A start that I needed and a start that I wanted, and I've got that. Hopefully the rest of the weekend like follows and I just get a really nice score because of this captaincy, but we'll have to wait and see. Let me know what you did in the comments below, who you captained, who you vice captained, how you feeling about the game, how you feeling about the Broncos and the Eels now. Did you hold on to Hopgood? That's another massive thing. I think that'll be very good for them. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Quick little wrap up here. But yeah, take care. See you on the next one. Wolfie here from the Rage Traders.